we all walk around with some kind of vibe, right? Some kind of energy. I'm gonna sound pretty hippie-ish here. It's a vibe, man. This is really true, though. I mean, most of us probably know it, you know? A person walks into a freaking room and you can sense whether you're, attracted to them, repelled by them, indifferent, immediately. They almost don't have to even say anything. It's in the way we walk. It's obviously in the way we talk, in the way we move, in how much noise we make, how loud we are, how quiet we are. Every little thing is like an expression of our vibe. it's a funny way to put it. I think it's a great word, and of course, vibe comes from vibration, and some spiritual people will talk about frequencies of energy, vibrations. It's almost like we are sending out these like waves, and just like light, there's different colors, there's different feelings, there's different vibes, and this is just a fact. I mean, two people walk in, they're sending out different vibe. Sometimes when we interact with people, our vibes will start to match a little bit, right? We'll get in the same mood through talking, and we communicate this. We'll talk the same way. We'll both be loud. We'll both laugh even in the same way. We'll both be like, or, if one of us is in a more sad, blue vibe, we can join each other there too. And we can both sit there. And it's not like one of us is gonna, if you're talking to your friend who's sad or whatever, you're probably not gonna be jumping around. You're probably not going to be cracking all these jokes like you usually do or whatever. We match vibes a little bit. And I think there are issues if it's hard to kind of like see other people's vibes and react to them. That's like can be problematic, because people will be put off if you're kind of like blind to that, if you don't feel it, if you don't react to it. If you're not sensitive to like another person's state. I mean, that's another way of putting the same thing. What is your state? What is your like state of mind? Sure. What's your mind doing? What's your state of consciousness? Another good spiritual phrase. I mean, that sums it up. What's your state of consciousness? What the hell does that mean? Yes, we're conscious. What's the state of that consciousness? Are you here? Are you able to be here? Or are you in here? It's another state of consciousness, completely up in here. Or maybe you're so overwhelmed by emotion, you're completely up down here. You can be depressed, you can be completely like this. Completely guarded, closed, totally like clenched. Your butt all clenched. Nothing can get in there. You're just in safety mode. And some people, they walk around, this is their mode all the time. Some people walk around in this mode, like I'm ready to fight you. Aggressive. Some people walking down the street, you give them a little extra space, because even if you just are in their lane, they would be ready to punch you in the face. These people exist. Okay, I've walked down the streets in New York where that was the feeling, that was the vibe. Okay, so you can see why your vibe is all important. What could be more important than this? This is your state. This is what you're sending out. This is your communication to the world, but it's constant. It's not just when you talk. It's all the time. It's when you walk down the street. How fast are you walking? I mean, when I'm walking down the street, I look at everybody. And I did this when I used to live in New York City also. I look at everybody I pass by. What else am I going to do? Look at the ground the whole time? Sometimes I'm looking at the sky or somewhere else. But pretty much every person has my attention. I'm like, And 98% of people weren't looking at me. Maybe I'm not worth looking at. But some rare people, we made eye contact. You know? And you could see right there, even that, are you open to making eye contact with people? Is a huge sign of what your vibe is. Are you open? Or are you in your own land? You just want to get where you're going as fast as possible sometimes if you're walking fast. Or are you so dejected you're just like walking, 1 mile an hour, like looking at the ground, just out of it. You communicate this constantly, all the time. It's in every move you make. And you can even hear it. So and then you can become attuned to another person, obviously, like your partner, your kids, your cats. They have a very energetic vibe right now. Doing their early morning chasing. They just had breakfast. That's a certain vibe. Most of the time, they're just sleeping. Very calm vibe. But anyways, you can get attuned to other people's vibes where you know them very well. And you can hear even just one sound. I hear one sound my wife makes in another room. And I pick up a vibe. That's insane if you think about that. We are such social creatures. We don't have to say anything. When you get to know somebody, you know immediately. You take one little look and you know immediately where they're at. You pick up their vibe like boom. But it works also with strangers, basically. But what you send out constantly to everybody and everything is of course going to come back to you. I mean, that's one way of putting it. It sounds a little funny, it comes back to you, but if you think about it, obviously, obviously, people are going to react to the way that you are acting. It's yeah. So you're gonna get some version of what you send out back. Even if you write a comment on social media somewhere, that has some kind of vibration, right? You're sending it out. It's got some kind of feeling to it, and people will react. So if you want to fight, easy to fight, right? It's even anonymous, most of it. So who cares? So let it all hang out. But when you're walking down the street, it of course matters what you're sending out constantly. And then in our lives, this is cumulative. This keeps going. It adds up. It's what your vibe has been for the last 20 years obviously determines where you're at now. It impacts every decision you make. What is your state of mind? What's your state when you're making this big life decision? Huge impact, obviously. Where are you going to go to school? Where are you, who are you going to say yes when Johnny asks you out or not? What's guiding you? That's another good way of putting it. What's guiding you? What's the energy level inside? And of course it adds up. You make a bunch of decisions based on it. And either you're stuck in your room, not being able to move, or you're out and you have a relationship and maybe you're doing something that you like or whatever. It doesn't matter what the heck you're doing. This is also why it's all important. You could be doing anything. It doesn't freaking matter. You could be at the amusement park, or you could be at home sitting in your backyard. It also just seems obvious that the only thing that matters is what kind of state you're in. I almost said mood. That's part of it. If you're in a good mood, you can put it that way too. If you're in a good mood, it doesn't matter if you're taking out the trash. Then you see your neighbor and you're like, "What's up? How's it going? Amazing." If you're in a bad mood, you could be at the amusement park and have the worst time. I'm sure everybody has experienced this. I've been in amazing places. And the mood was bad. And it didn't matter that we were in the amazing place. It didn't matter at all. I would have traded it for some good vibes. And just to be sitting somewhere. It doesn't freaking matter. And most of the time, like, depending on where you're at, another great question maybe for another video is, do we have power to control our vibe? And some people definitely do have some control over their vibe. They can, you can call it reframing, you can call it changing your attitude, you can call it all kinds of stuff. Some people can actually do that. And then other people just cannot do that. They are overtaken by some vibe, and it is outside their control. Why? Yeah, it's a big question. Maybe we can talk about it at a later date. I think that's enough for now. Very passionate about this one. Yeah, vibes. They're all that matter, man. Yeah, that's it. I hope you're enjoying your vibe this morning. Have a great day. Sending you lots of love via the internet. Ciao.